And we're back, folks, for another episode on the MVM Show. I'm Titus here today, joined by Ethan Gooch. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or not, but he's on YouTube right now. Goochie TV is his YouTube channel, and that's pretty much how I found him. I'll be honest with you, I found out about you, Ethan. I did see you on the Hunting Public as one of the guys that were filming for a while. I watched those guys quite a bit, and then seeing you on there. So the face was easily recognizable once I seen you start putting out waterfowl videos. But today we're wanting to talk to him and find out more about him. And we just kind of started talking maybe about a week ago and asked if he wanted to be on the show today. Just interested to see his point of view. I know he hunts some places different than we do or have. I mean, we probably hunted several of the same places, but as far as the states and stuff I'm talking about. So just out of curiosity, would like to get to know him more, and I think you guys will enjoy this episode. So without further ado, thank you, Ethan, for coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me. I always love sitting down talking to new people that like to hunt, but also like to make videos. It's just cool to hear other people's perspective and kind of get their take on what's going on in both arenas. So thanks for having me.
So what have you been up to lately, man?
Yeah, so kind of once waterfowl season died down, our season goes pretty late by the time we hunt snow geese. It's done probably late March, and then turkey season kind of starts up right after that. So been turkey hunting a lot here in Missouri, and then I just spent the last 10 days, I guess. I was in Montana and Wyoming. A buddy of mine and then all the Hunting Public crew went up there to hunt some Merriam's turkeys, and that was a great time. So was lucky enough to get a Merriam in both Montana and Wyoming, and then I filmed some for the Hunting Public guys while I was up there. So
nice.
Kind of been doing a lot of turkey hunting. Got a week left of that. I'm going to be in Wisconsin for the next week, and then kind of just head into the summer and try to crank out videos until waterfowl starts again.
Yeah, now, so what do you do? Do you just kind of batch up and then just start putting them out a bunch, or how do you do that? Because, I mean, it sounds like you're on the road a ton, so that's got to be kind of tough.
Yeah, so, like, while I was gone, I mean, that was my plan, was to I try to post twice a week, if not 3 times a week, but for sure at least twice a week. But while I was up there, I was having to edit while I was there, so I just have a little inverter in my car and charge my computer and have my hard drive and just edit as I go. So
nice.
That can get pretty late sometimes, but yeah, ideally if you can batch them up and then go on a trip and have videos ready, that's the way to do it. But don't always have that much time to do that.
Yeah, that don't always work out. Be the dream if it could, though. But
yeah.
So, man, you've had some interesting things. I don't even know where to start. We'll just kind of let it flow freely. But you've had a lot of interesting videos that you filmed. We had talked beforehand about just kind of sticking to, talking about waterfowl. I mean, we could talk about whatever, but one of the things that really stuck out, and this wasn't the first video I seen of yours, but that was that championship goose. Was it the snow goose tournament or whatever? Hadn't even heard of those until you posted that video.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that? Like, is that something they do every year, or how'd you get part of that?
Yeah. So, it is something they do every year. I know you guys are from California, so it doesn't really attract people from either the coast. It's more of a Midwest thing. Actually, it's mostly an Arkansas thing. But my favorite, waterfowl hunting is snow geese, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure why. I've always loved snow goose hunting. And I'd always wanted to go down to Arkansas to film a snow goose hunt. It's usually pretty good, and I'd known some guys that had gone down there. And I'd always heard of this Max Prairie Wings Snow Goose World Championships. Max is like a big, kind of like a waterfowl specific sporting goods store that's in Stuttgart, Arkansas, which is, people call it the duck capital of the world, but just a big sporting goods store that puts on this tournament. There's teams of 10, and you head out. You have one day, so you have from shooting time Saturday morning until 1 o'clock to shoot as many snow geese as you can. You have to decoy them. You can't jump shoot them or anything like that. You got to decoy them. and then the team that has the most snow geese at the end wins. Got to go get them checked in. Every team has a field judge that has to watch the whole hunt.
Okay.
You have to take a lie detector test.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So like,
holy cow.
when you're done, you got to go into the max, and then if you won, you've got to take a lie detector test. So there's like a lot of, there's always a lot of buzz about, how did they kill 473 geese or whatever. And I mean, I was there obviously and filmed the whole thing. I know the guys really well. And then we had a field judge that sat and watched the whole thing, and then they all had to take a lie detector test. So
even with the field judge, are they thinking they're going to pay off the field judge and then,
I have no idea. I mean, there are people that, were saying that we cheated and stuff. I really don't know how you would ever cheat. The field judge is sitting there in the blind with you the whole time, and then the field judge has to count all the geese, as they come in, and then you have to have the same exact number of geese at max as you had, in the field. So I don't know. I don't know how a person would cheat or what, but there's quite a bit of buzz about that. I mean, which honestly just helped me out because I was just there filming them. So, there's quite a bit of buzz, but that was, it's just super cool experience. I didn't know. I'm not big on making hunting a competition, but, snow geese when it's just like, trying to get rid of them. So, it was a ton of fun and something that I'm probably going to hopefully do again next year. It was just cool because I posted on my Instagram story. I was like, hey, I'm wanting to go to Arkansas. And some random guy was like, come film our team, and I was just like, it was just kind of a stupid, like, yeah, I guess I'll go. If it sucks, it sucks. And
so what you said you did on an Instagram story?
Yeah, I just posted on, like, I've been doing that a lot lately, which has been pretty cool. Like, I just post on my Instagram story, hey, I want to go do this. Does anyone, like, can I link up in somebody and go film them? And then, somebody will respond. And I just go down there. So, it certainly cost a little bit. I had the time and then the gas, but I don't know. It's interesting because, like, my buddies always kind of make fun of me for doing that, but it seems like if you talk for just a little bit with somebody, it's pretty clear, to know if they're a good person or if they know what they're talking about. And, even if it's not good hunting, it's fun to go meet new people and visit the area. So I've been having a ton of fun doing that, and it's led to some of these, like, just weird things happening that I wouldn't have ever had if I wouldn't have just, like, gone out on a limb and tried to do something like that. So
no, that's really interesting because, I mean, what's the odds, too? The guy that says, yeah, come out with us is the team that just smashes them,
Yeah.
Like, what's the odds of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. And like those guys, I actually went down there 2 weekends because they run a guide service down there. So, I'd never been on a guided waterfowl hunt, but it was super cool to be, able to go and film, them and their daily operations. And, just like I said, just seeing stuff you wouldn't ever see if you were just, doing stuff by yourself. So, yeah, just weird odds. And, like, now that video is done better than any video I've had, like 4 times better than any video I've ever had, and it's just pure luck that that was how it worked out. So I was really thankful that that's the way it did.
Yeah, well, good for you. It is weird. I have noticed that certain, not all of them, but certain snow hunts I have seen take off, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's other countries that are interested in that, like watching those, because I have seen that with some other friends that I have that say, hey, this snow goose video is just skyrocketing. And, like, if you look at the analytics, it's from some other country or something. So I don't know if that's something too or what. But also, like you said, the buzz of, it's funny how, because you do really good, people think you're cheating,
Right. Yeah.
So goofy.
And there's a couple different points on that. Like, pretty much everything now on that video, all the viewership is from foreign countries. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how that, I don't know what country they're from. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ones, but it is interesting to see. And then, like, on my videos now, I get a lot of comments that, say, like, we're not allowed to hunt in our country, but, like, I love watching hunting. And so it's been cool. I've seen, like, my foreign audience grow quite a bit from that video. And then, as far as the cheating thing goes, I don't, it's so weird. And I've after that all happened, I just like I kept thinking to myself, I was just like, the next time somebody does really well in something and it just seems unbelievable, like my first reaction better not be that they're cheating, because like I know how it feels to just like work really hard at something and think you've done everything right, and then just a bunch of people accuse you of cheating. But
yeah, I think that for myself, I've said this before, but like the whole YouTube thing really has been like an eye-opener in a lot of things for me, because I never was the kind of guy to go on social media and say anything negative. If I didn't have something good to say, I just wouldn't say it at all. That's how I was raised. But I would have the thoughts, right? Or I might talk amongst it with my peers or whatever. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be so quick to judge anymore, because you really have no idea the scenario. They may be cheaters, that are things you see on, YouTube or videos or whatever, and all must be nice, that kind of mentality. But in all reality, you don't know the price they paid, so you can't say nothing. And it's just like, you know what? Just be happy for people and, enjoy it. If you don't want to watch it, you don't like it, just turn it off, It's that simple.
I couldn't agree more. And it's definitely been exaggerated since doing YouTube, just like reading, some of the mean comments on videos. It's just like, I don't know if I've ever, left a mean comment on somebody's video. I've just turned the video off, and it's just makes you, realize, I guess, how the world really is sometimes, but also makes you aware of things you do yourself, and that's been good.
Yeah. As long as you're doing right and doing what's, the right thing to do, then there's nothing ever to worry about, no matter what people say. But,
Absolutely.
Words are words, but sometimes they do affect you. You're like, man, you start second. But sometimes it's for good. Sometimes maybe something I've noticed for myself is like, you know what? I needed to think about that a little bit more. I need to do this. So there's negatives and positives out of it, but for sure, I think there's more positives, and just depends on the kind of person you are. But anyways, also that was really cool. That was just something off the top of my head. So what state are you actually from, Ethan?
I'm from northern Missouri.
Northern Missouri, okay.
I still live here. I go to college where I grew up. So, I've been born and raised in northeast Missouri. But obviously this past waterfowl season, I was lucky to travel around some and get to go do some new places. So, but yeah, I mostly waterfowl hunt in northeast Missouri.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, like, and now obviously again we're on a social platform here, but I've heard a lot. So my in-laws some of my in-laws live in Oklahoma, and in the part where you can just touch all the states pretty quick, right there in the corner.
Right.
And I was there looking around. We were duck hunting a little bit, and I mean, it seems like there's a lot of other states that I feel like people don't really know about. Like, to me, Washington State's an incredible place to duck hunt. And I never really would have thought about it until I went there myself, and I'm just like mind blown how good it is. But I have heard like Missouri and Oklahoma are, kind of a little bit of hidden gems too. But I mean, it depends, obviously, because now you're more in the Midwest of the state, so you are waiting on weather, migration, stuff like that. I mean, how do you feel about it? Is it kind of temperamental for that, or can it be consistent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from like almost Iowa, so like I'm from really northern Missouri. I don't know if you have heard of Habitat Flats or like Tony Vandemore. They guide about 40 miles from my house.
Okay.
And a lot of the public land we hunt is borders like what they guide. So when Habitat Flats started, they started their whole guide service around a public land area in northeast Missouri. So that's the place we hunt the most. A lot of like those flooded corn hunts that we had on public land, that's right next to where Habitat Flats is. So I personally think, and I don't have a problem saying this, I personally think like northern Missouri is really underrated as far as the duck hunting goes. I think that the weather still gets harsh enough here that it's still pretty consistent. If you get much further south, kind of in southern Missouri, especially in Arkansas, a lot of the guys will tell you that the winters just don't get harsh enough anymore to get the amount of birds that they have. But it's pretty consistent here. There's a lot of times that we hold a lot of ducks. There's certainly years that we don't, but yeah, I think certainly this kind of little area that we're in is a hidden gem for it. And there's a lot of people that waterfowl hunt around here, but there's not many people that come from out of state to waterfowl hunt.
Really? I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like the proximity to Kansas. I think Kansas has quite a bit of buzz about it lately. I'm not exactly sure why that is. There's not a ton of public land around here, but the public land there is really good. So I would expect, there would be some people that would want to travel here. But yeah, I don't know. It's good and bad that there aren't people that travel to hunt here. So
yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you is like the public land pressure there. I mean, it's just so it's really not that bad. I mean, you kind of said it already, but I mean, when you go out, see, because our ideas of pressure might be different, and I learned that from hunting with like freelance duck hunting and all these guys, Outdoor Limits, and all them. Is their idea of pressure, heavy pressure, is way different than mine, and and I totally get that, and it's understandable. So I can't look at them and say you guys have no clue what it's, because I mean, let's say 20 years ago. They're out there hunting and they never even see a person. And now today, they're seeing 3, 4, 5 people kind of set up in spots. So I can get the frustration, trust me, because I hunt on these California public refuges. And I mean, like you're surrounded northeast, south, and west with guys like 100 yards from you. So, but I mean, you can make it happen. Is it always enjoyable? Not really. But so I'm curious in your, like, if you can describe what the pressure is like there, even though, it may be,
I don't think, I think compared to, like, especially compared after going to Arkansas and seeing kind of what that game was like on public land, and then just hearing stories from other people in other states, I don't think really it's that pressured. And that's kind of a construct of the way the public land is set up here. There are some places you can walk in, but very few places that people like to hunt or walk in. So the Department of Conservation kind of prevents there being a lot of pressure. All the areas that I hunt, you have to draw every morning. So there's a limited amount of people that get to go no matter what. Now, certainly, like when you're out there are a lot of people out there, but it's the same amount of pressure every day. I mean, there's some days that nobody shows up.
All through the middle of the week, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like the one area I hunt, there's 40 blinds. I don't know how many acres it is. There's 40 spots to hunt approximately, and 90% of the time, all 40 blinds are filled. Now, there's a lot of days that you show up, there's 100 people that are drawing for it, so you have less than a 50% chance. And then some days during the week when the weather's not very good, you're for sure going to get a spot, but it might not be the spot you want. So I really like that. There's some people that don't like that because obviously there's some days you don't get a hunt because you don't draw on. But the pressure is pretty much the same no matter what. There are certainly some walk-in areas, but that's not a majority of areas. The majority of areas, I'd say, for waterfowl are mostly draw-in areas or reservation areas.
So that when you talk about it, kind of sounds a little similar to ours. Just ours is way harder to get drawn. So your draws are like the morning of the hunt?
Yeah, it depends. 25% of the spots are allocated for before season reservations. So you'd have to draw before season, and then another 20. It's either another 25% or another 50%. I think it's another 25% are daily. Hold on, let me think about that. 25% before season, and then there's a 25% that's weekly. So every single week you put in, and you'll get drawn for the following week. And then 50% is what they call pour line, where if you show up, 50% of the spots are going to be given to people that just show up and put their name in the hat. So there's like 3 different.
So you can put it in advance then?
You can put in a week in advance.
That's as far in advance as you can put in?
Yeah, and then there's 25% that would be before season. So you'll know, like, come October with our season in November, you'll know, like, a month before season that you have these dates.
And you can pick the dates you want to put in for, or do you just put in for the whole season in general when you do it?
There's 3 different categories. You can do specific dates, which you have like a really small chance of getting. You can do weekdays, or you can do weekends, or you can do every day. So me and my buddies just do any day, because you're going to have much better chance of getting drawn. But obviously we go to school and we can skip school if we need to, but
yeah,
that's not everybody. So
yeah, right. No, that makes sense, because I mean that's what we do. We basically we pick our days for the whole before season starts. We put in for the whole season from literally October all the way to January, and then we pick those days. But it's not every day, because all of our refuges is not. They're only usually 2 to 3 days a week. You can't hunt them every day, depending on what type of class it is. Like there's different types of classes. Those are types. It'd be a type. Now my mind just went blank. But type A. Type A is they're more maintained. The government's putting more money into them. It's more run. You know what I mean, like that.
Right.
And then after that, it degrades. And like, okay, now you got type B. It's not maintained. There's not human people out there running the check stations. It's kind of like that. So those you can go, more a lot of times. And anyways. So I was just curious. Yeah, I was curious how that ran. That makes sense though. So a month in advance or whatever, you can put in for as much as you want. Then you can also do the before weekly, and then you can do the morning of, which is, you called that, what'd you call that again?
We called that pour line.
Pour line. I think that's our the word we use for ours is sweat line. So yeah, both of them.
I gotcha.
Both of them sound rough, because they are. You never know, but that's cool though. I like that system. It sounds similar. Maybe just a little bit more of a chance with you guys. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you done much hunting in Oklahoma?
I haven't. I was down there and deer hunted for a week with the hunting public, and we were gonna go duck hunting. It was like the opening day, but then I had to end up coming home. But they did go, and they had some success. Right, it sounds like kind of right where your relatives are, right in the northeast corner of the state. Mm-hmm. It seemed like it was going to be pretty good. They ended up killing, I don't know, 12 or 15. So they had a pretty good hunt, but I've not personally ever duck hunted in Oklahoma.
So what was I'm kind of throwing you on the spot here. What was your favorite duck hunt? I'll just say specifically duck hunt of this last season.
I really like, I think it's titled like our best public land hunt ever. Mm-hmm. It was in flooded corn, and it was like foggy, and it was just really good. We drew like the best spot on the area that day, and it was just insane. Those areas, if you're in like the top 5, which you might get once a season, you might get it once a season. I'd say more like once every 2 or 3 years. Like it'll be, I would say, like the most insane hunt ever. And that we were just lucky enough to draw that, and it was crazy. I think we shot our full limit of mallards, and then it killed all of our bonus ducks, and shot 4 Canada geese. 1 was banded, and then like 6 specks. So it was just like amazing hunt for being on public land.
Yeah, that's epic. I've seen that video, I believe. So would you rather duck or goose hunt?
I would rather goose hunt.
Really?
That's
okay.
Okay,
it's not, because I'm not that way, but I want to know. I want to get into the mind of somebody. What is it that you, and I can get it, like everybody has a different taste, but what is it for you that does it more than a duck hunt for goose hunting?
Yeah. I would say it's just like with geese around here, at least. I'm talking specifically Canadian geese. We don't have many specs around, but it's really predictable. So like we can go out, we can scout. We know, there's X amount of birds. They're showing up at this time, and then put a game plan together. And like the next day, usually it's pretty smooth. It happens. It's good. And I really like the communication part. Like I like calling. They're a lot easier for me to film. That's probably my favorite part about it. When they're coming, it's a lot smoother of a process.
Yeah. Totally.
Now that I like snow geese probably the best, but as far as hunting and filming that's a nightmare. I like that because it's just extremely challenging. At least here it seems like it's extremely challenging. But ducks, I don't know. We don't have a whole lot of opportunities to like scout ducks and go, and like go into a place that we've never been before and duck hunt. We tend to hunt the same 3 public land spots, and then we might get lucky and find a couple duck hunts that are on private ground a year. But doesn't seem like it's as involved. You kind of just show up to the draw, get your spot, and then you go out there and throw 2 dozen duck decoys and, try to make it happen. So that's probably why I don't like it as much. I did get to go on a duck hunt in Arkansas where it was kind of more scouting related. We got to walk in a long ways. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that, but I like the scouting aspect and just like getting a game plan together and going in the next day and trying to make it all work.
Yeah. Now, when you were in Arkansas and did that duck hunt, was that a timber hunt?
It wasn't really, it was like flooded rice. There was obviously some timber around, but no, it was just flooded rice. But still something, completely new and something I enjoyed. I went out to Kansas, which did you go like with Outdoor Limits and all those guys this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was talking to Duck Gun Chronicles, kind of when you guys were out there. Mm-hmm. So, I was there like a couple weeks after the first time they went. I'm not exactly sure, but, we got on a pond, that we had scouted the day before for ducks, and that was a ton of fun. I had never shot ducks off a pond. Which is dumb, like a lot of people have, but I had a ton of fun doing that. But
yeah, I hadn't done that myself either until Kansas. I think that was 2 years ago that we hunted out of a pond the first time I was there, and that was pretty cool. Because they're it's a pond, so they're coming into a specific spot. Right. So there is no when you're out there in public land, there's water everywhere. It's just like they're landing somewhere 200 yards away. This is just like they're right there. So it definitely makes it a lot easier,
Absolutely.
But, yeah, that's pretty fun. I didn't realize till I was talking to these Chasing Green guys that, rice. I knew Arkansas had rice, but I always just think timber. Every time you talk about Arkansas, timber, and then they're like,
absolutely.
Oh, the majority of the time we're hunting the rice and this, and there's another term they have too. I can't remember what it's called, but it's not timber, but it's like short, like bushy kind of stuff, and they hunt out of that too. And I was like, what? So that I'm not even surprised now that you say that about it was more rice country.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the method though. There's a method on what the weather's doing where they hunt either the rice or the timber. But
yeah, I don't know much about like going down there. I was just down there for a couple of days when I was down there filming those guys, and I got to go on a duck hunt. But
you guys do any good?
We killed a few. It was kind of tough. There were so many pintails and stuff, which it seems like in California there's a lot of pintails.
Oh man, yeah.
About that. That's what they've been complaining about the most is like they get a lot of bonus ducks, and that's what we call anything that's not mallards. Right. I don't know if that's what you guys call it. But a lot of those you can only shoot like a pintail. Our limit's only 1. Like there's wood ducks we can shoot 3. So like they were only able to shoot a few of their ducks because the mallards weren't there. Yeah. But I'm assuming you like duck hunting more, or?
Yeah, I do. The goose hunting's fun, but I'm kind of wondering now after hearing you describe the why you like the goose is, and I think it's because of opportunity, which I know the filming was one aspect, so that's kind of different. But it's just there's so much. Okay, so there's a lot of public land here. I'm not saying there's not. There's a lot of public land in California. Fish and Game has a lot of refuges. We have a lot of waterways, a lot of places we can go. But the opportunity for geese, where I'm at, and I'll just say with my knowledge, okay, I'm not saying there's guys could be listening to this thinking you're an idiot, that are from California. Like there's a ton of good goose hunting spots, but right. A lot of the ground where we do see geese on, and there is plenty of honkers here. But they're always on that private ground usually, and it's really hard to get permission. So I don't know. As far as duck hunting, mallard's my favorite duck to hunt. It's just I feel like they're a little little bit. I mean, all ducks are smart, but I feel like they're a little bit smarter, and I like the way they work. I like that they do whoop me sometimes, a lot of
Right.
times, majority of the time, to be honest. So it's just the chase of them and the challenge of them. I think that makes it a lot easier, and how hidden you have to be. It's how it is. It's when they're locked up and they're just coming in, and you realize that second where I fooled them,
Right.
and you get your shot off and you just smoke them. It's just like it's such a satisfying feeling. Plus, I mean, for the most part, most of them are good to eat. But I will say my favorite duck to eat is pintail by far. They're just
I agree.
never a time have I had a pintail that was not good.
Yeah, I agree. I love pintails.
But I know how it is. Mallards, they can be goofy. They'll eat whatever they got to eat to survive, and sometimes that ain't the greatest thing, and that brings some nasty taste to them.
Right.
Because here, I mean, there's so many variety. Like they could be eating grasses and bugs and stuff like that, or duckweed, whatever, and they'll taste fine. They'll taste good. And then the ones on the rice, they're good too. But then you just get those ones that they get mixed in with the crustaceans and the stuff that's in the ocean. Taste just don't, kind of fishy. So there's a lot of variety here. I feel like in California that can really change the taste of mallards. But yeah, it's really interesting. Pintail though, if they got a good layer of fat on them, my goodness.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Oh,
Throw them on the open flame, on the grill, and just cook them up. So good. But
you're
what?
making me hungry.
I know I haven't ate yet either. That's probably why I'm getting a little too detailed about it. So what's your game plan this year, Ethan? Like, I mean, obviously filming and hunting, but do you got anything special you got planned that you can tell us about this season, coming the waterfowl season?
So let's see. This summer, I've got a couple trips planned to go down south in Arkansas. Down to Arkansas to hog hunt. So I'm
nice.
excited about that. Something I've not ever done before. I think it'll be a little different. But as far as waterfowl season goes, I'm planning on going to Kansas again. I'm really excited about this. Probably the biggest thing I'm excited about. I'm gonna go down to Arkansas for pretty much my entire Christmas break, so 3 weeks probably in December and January, and I'm going to try to make a daily video of that guide service and their just like their everyday work. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. Certainly not something that I want to do, only make videos about that, but I've always wanted to see, I know Bobby Guy does some of it, but I've always really wanted somebody to document like just a week long of guiding just to kind of see what it's like. So I'm really, really excited about that. There's a lot of speckle bellies there, which we don't get to hunt much. And they do speckle belly hunts and duck hunts. So I'm hoping I can kind of switch it up and go with different groups. But that's probably what I'm most excited about. Just being able to go down there to something I've never seen before and document something that not a lot of people have seen documented. So,
right. Yeah. No, that's a great idea.
Excited about that. I'm planning on going to North Dakota for a week, like August 15th to the 22nd, the early goose season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about that too. Those are
fun.
kind of 3 big trips. North Dakota for geese, and then Kansas. Probably a couple times to Kansas, and then I'm going to go to Arkansas for a while.
That's awesome.
But besides that, I don't have really any plans. I kind of tend to fly by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Somebody will text me or post something on Instagram, like I said, and get an invite and decide I'm going to go, somewhere for a weekend or something.
So is your school back to in classes, or are you guys still online?
It's in person now.
In person, okay.
And it will be next fall. Luckily, I've kind of structured it to where 2 days I only have one class, so I can kind of that means I've really got like the weekend plus 2 days that I can hunt and film and stuff.
Oh, perfect. So, yeah.
That'll be nice. I got a year left of that. I'm not sure exactly what my plans are after that. I'm really hoping I can do YouTube full time, but you know how that is.
Yeah, you never know.
That's extremely hard, and I don't really know what size you need to be full time. That's kind of different for everybody, and just depends on what's going on. But that's my goal. Hopefully by the time I graduate here in a year, I'll be able to do it full time, or at least, it'd be a good part-time job that I could continue doing. So
Yeah. What are you going to school for?
I'm going to school for agriculture sciences, and then I'm getting my minor in business management. And then I'm hoping if I'm not doing YouTube full time, I'll probably get my master's in business administration.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not
Nice.
exactly sure what I want to do. Something probably in the agricultural field, but yeah, that's basically my plans.
Well, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I was, as far as the planning and stuff, I mean, I know how that is in planning, but at least you have 4 days a week to get out there and do stuff. Cause I mean,
Absolutely.
that'd be really rough to do it on the weekend only. I hate being locked down, cause for several years I was just locked to those, and it's just, you don't even
So
get to taste waterfowl season,
No.
There's no way.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm nervous. It's just like, I know, like I'm so lucky with the amount of free time I have right now. Just with going to school, and then just being in the position I am as far as school goes, and when I started it, and I see a lot of guys doing it that still like have a full-time job, and I'm just like, I have so much respect for those guys, because it's just like, certainly they're getting to hunt and they're getting to film it, but like there's no free time. Like you've got 2 days a week to make something happen, whereas I can go out several times a week and kind of be choosy with what I end up posting, and if one hunt doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, I'm really thankful that I've got that much time, and know that that's not going to be the case forever. So
yeah. Now, getting around, like you talking about traveling over and jumping on stuff, are you driving most of the time, or are you jumping on an airplane? Like, how's that working for you?
I've always driven.
Mm-hmm.
I've never flown anywhere. When COVID was in full effect and they started having the flights again, I was really thinking about flying, because it's just like, it was probably cheaper.
Mm.
But yeah, I've only been driving everywhere, which gets expensive at times, but I love it. I love going to new places and seeing new stuff.
So what's the gas like there right now where you're at? What is the price?
Sure, it's nothing like California. I drive a diesel. I have a car that I mostly drive, but it's like $285 probably.
Oh, okay. I'm at 379, 389 right here where we're at. So for diesel.
Good God.
Yeah, gas is like in the mid fours right now here in California. So
gases.
Yeah, gas. That's why, right? Because I know it fluctuates, right? Like I remember right before I bought my diesel was always cheaper than gas in that 5-year window. As soon as I bought my diesel ended up being more than gas for a long time, and then just now, like I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, diesel finally is taking the winning bid right now. It's like, oh man,
that's so weird. I mean, I knew that was the case, but like, man, I can remember maybe 2 times, which I'm obviously not that old, but I can maybe remember 2 times that diesel was less expensive than gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm only 37, but yeah, I remember like 2 or 3 times that, and yeah, right now it's stupid, it's insane. And people, if there's anyone on here listening from California, there's probably places I'm sure it's close to 5, and they're probably saying, "Hey, we're almost at $5." I mean, I've seen it multiple times living here. Hikes happen. I've seen 479, 489 before. It's ridiculous, but. Luckily, I have a job now that I'm 10 minutes from my house, because for the last 15 years, I've always commuted out of town to work. So I'm pretty happy now. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like, whatever you guys do, I'm still not going to have to pay that much. It's like, but I feel for the people, man, that are commuting. It's just like, goodness, because I know their wages aren't going up, but they're paying double on fuel what they normally would. So I feel sorry for those guys. But well, let's end here. I'm gonna let you go. What can we end maybe with one of your most crazy stories duck hunting? We try to end with this a lot.
Okay, well, if I can make it not about duck hunting,
go ahead.
About turkey hunting, because this just happened to me. So, we were in Montana. We were in Wyoming. It was our first day in Wyoming. We were turkey hunting. Obviously, we'd spotted some turkeys off the side of the road. And it was getting about the time that they're going to fly up to roost. You can hunt all day in Wyoming. So me, Jake from the Hunting Public, and Bryce, who helps me film for some of my videos, we hopped out of the truck and we ran like all the way around these turkeys. So we probably ran like 800 yards, and we can hear this tom gobbling, and we can hear, a bunch of hens. He had like 9 hens with him, so we can hear a bunch of hens. So we pretty much just keep running at them and keep calling, get them to gobble. So we're just closing the distance really fast on this gobbler. We end up getting like really close. I'd say probably 50 yards from a hen. We can hear a hen calling. We sit down and get the cameras rolling. Everything's going fine. We can hear the tom shutting, and he's spitting and drumming. He's really close. Next thing you know, a couple hens fly up into the tree, like literally 20 yards from us. So we're like, oh God, like I hope he doesn't fly up into the tree. Obviously, we weren't going to shoot him out of the roost, so it was like kind of just a high-stress situation. Next thing I know, like we've been sitting down for maybe 2 minutes. Next thing I know, he gobbles like really, really close, probably 50 yards. And I can't see him. He's just right over the ridge from me. And he comes up on top of the little ridge, like probably, I think he was 29 steps from us. And I tell Jake, I'm like, he's right here. So I pull my gun up, and I'm just about to shoot. Jake zooms in on him. The next thing I take my safety off, and the next thing I know, bang, some guy was sitting like 30 yards from us and shot the turkey.
No
that
way.
We were aiming at.
No.
Yeah.
And you guys never knew each other were there?
Never knew we were there.
The other guy didn't know you guys were there either?
The guy had no idea. Like we
My goodness.
ran right up to him. And he didn't end up killing it. He ended up missing. But I'm not kidding. Like we couldn't have been set up more than 30 yards apart.
Oh my goodness.
And there were so many hens, like the tom had so many hens that it was just like a cacophony of hens. So he was calling, but it just sounded like it was a hen.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I just assumed, you guys were a real hen too. It's just like scary.
Oh, that is scary.
I mean, it scared me like crazy. Because I thought my gun had gone off. Like I was like, did I accidentally shoot? Like I had no idea what had happened.
I bet you Jake and them were blown away too.
Yeah, he said that that's happened 3 times.
Oh wow.
That he's seen. Just crazy, like just scary that you can get that close and not know. And obviously we hadn't seen anybody in Wyoming while we were there hunting, and I don't know. That just made me think twice about like running in on stuff and not being that aware of my surroundings.
Yeah,
but
no kidding.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, what if he would have been sitting at the wrong angle and you would have shot, and he, that's scary. And
yeah, because they're sitting like at 45-degree angles from each other. Like we would have been, I don't even know how to describe it, but if we would have just been, 40 yards around the circle, which could have very easily been possible, we would have been shooting right at each other. It's just like, geez.
That's scary. Yeah. And what's weird? I never knew till like maybe 3 years ago I started turkey hunting more, and I really went a lot this year, especially by myself. But I never realized how many stories and things I've heard that because people talk about shooting other people, like, getting actually shot. And I'm like, what? How could, But the more I hear about turkey hunting, the more I talk to people that turkey hunt, I'm like, man, that is something definitely that happens. Like
it certainly is.
Yeah.
I think you're just moving towards the same target, and I think it's that. Like you never know where someone could be, and you assume if you're hearing something gobble that anything that's moving is probably a turkey, and that's not always the case, obviously.
Yeah. Well, hey man, tell everybody where they can find you on all platforms.
Yeah. So my Instagram name is Ethan Gooch Ethan. I don't know why that's my name, but that's what it is. You can find me on YouTube at Goochie TV. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check me out. From what I've seen of you guys, we post pretty similar content, honestly.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching your videos. And yeah, pretty similar style and pretty similar video topics. So That's where you can check me out. I really appreciate you having me on the show. It was nice talking to you. Maybe we can get together and hunt sometime.
That'd be great, Ethan. I'd really like to do that. Yeah, guys, check him out. And thanks for taking the time, man. I know you're constantly on the road busy, so I appreciate you taking a little time to come on here and chat with me for a little while. And I'm sure we'll have you back on again. And hopefully, like you said, maybe even on the YouTube channel and see each other and hunt together.
Yeah,
so
that'd be great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, good luck, man, on all your the ventures you got coming up and that you're in the middle of right now. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening on this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.